hello and welcome back to the Old Realms, and we're here because we have to spec a, wonderful little medicine point, and, pretty easy one to go for, isn't it? Yes, best medicine is always, well, the best pick here. Good lodging is okay if you think you're not going to have above 70 morale, but as we are in the stage of fight, most of the time, we will be above 70 morale. So losing 5%, speed, it's just so much easier to go for that than it is to go for something that stipulates you waiting in a settlement. So yeah, good enough. I like it. Anyway, I've basically just been running around a little bit here, and I have also seen a little bit of a problem. Our wages. Obviously, as I said to you before, we in the previous episode, we were having a huge issue with our wages. And if I wasn't a mercenary, I would be having huge problems. I would literally be having so many problems right now because my mercenary wage is insane. I mean, you know that, right? We literally had, what was it? 700, I think it is. I think our contract is currently 700 gold for every single influence point or something like that. And that is insane, the ratio. I can't even imagine why she even did that, but she must have been in a really, really bad situation, really just needed some additional assistance. But the fact is, we need that. We need that crazy ratio, because if we don't, we will not be able to afford our army. Which is a huge issue, actually. That is a huge problem. Oh, I actually hit someone. A stealth attack and I did 6 damage. That is actually pitiful. That is extremely bad. Look at that. I literally am hitting them with stealth attacks from this distance. I am hitting from 220 meters away. Oh, there's a headshot. That did not do anything, though. Are you serious? That did not do anything at all. I'm hitting their shields. Okay. Hitting someone's shield. Okay, hopefully my archers will actually be able to do some damage here. Should probably start telling my people to go a little bit further. Okay, yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, talking about wages, obviously our mercenary wages are absolutely helping us to survive the attrition that is caused by our wages. But the only reason why we're having these wages is because of the noble troops. And you expect, yeah, sure. Noble troops, of course, you're going to expect them to be more expensive than the regular troops. However, I feel like they're not worth it. I'm not sure. I feel like they're not worth the amount that you're spending on them. I could be wrong about that, of course, so don't quote me on that, but I think their stats are relatively similar to the peasant tree. And that kind of tells me that I should pretty much just, just focus on getting more peasants and leveling them up into horse archers. And that's probably going to be a much more, shall we say, suitable method of maintaining our army without having too many issues with money situation. Like our money situation is so incredibly bad right now. So, because basically right now we are forced into a situation where we have to continue fighting. We have to fight. And I suppose that's fine, from an objective standpoint. Anyway, being forced to fight is actually okay, because we need to, we need to fight to be able to gain council favor and so on. Now, I think there was a comment that said that we should try to explore a bunch of the other options that council favor can be used for, apart from leveling up troops. Obviously, we don't need to pay any council favor per day or anything like that, and I personally like that. I think that if we did have to pay council favor, that would be one of the worst systems known to man, but thankfully we only have to pay it to upgrade units, and there are a number of other functions. There are a number of other functions in council favor functionality, kind of, possibilities, and I will show you those when we go back to the town. And we'll see what is actually going on with that. And we're actually gaining 14 renown and 28 influence for this. Obviously, 28 influence is what we're mostly looking for here. Renown is not really that big of a deal any further because we have reached a point where we now have every single career option available to us, which is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, that's the main purpose for leveling up. For me, personally, in the Old Realms, you always want to try to get your career options available as soon as possible. Now, I am going to be taking the most expensive stuff here, and then I'm just going to be donating the rest to my troops, and we're hopefully going to have absolutely every single thing here. So, we are going to do this. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to level everyone up, and as you can no doubt tell, I don't have enough council favor to actually be able to do most of this. Hilariously enough, though, I've actually started recruiting regular militia. Okay, I've started recruiting regular militia. They're going to become way watchers, then rangers, then mounted rangers. Now, you see here, look at the wage of the mounted ranger. This is a mounted ranger, right? Mounted ranger. So you'd expect something that is a cavalry unit actually have a higher wage, but it doesn't. It's 40 per day, which is really not that bad. That's actually really, yeah, that's doable. That's affordable, right? Whereas if you look at the envoy guards here, they are 120. Now, let me actually just have a look. Okay, so the only difference, the only difference must be their gear, okay? It must be their gear, must be their armor or their weapons or something like that, that is causing the difference in wages. Because the envoy, as you can see, has 270 in every skill. Same thing with the mounted unit, as we've seen. So let's take a look at their weapons. Ornate bow, wood elven sword, and bodkin arrows. Let's take a look at the other ones. They're using a wood elf bow. So there you go. There's immediately the difference between the two. They're using a wood elf bow. The Azrai ornate bow is fundamentally 100% a deadly missile weapon in comparison to the wood elf bow. The wood elf bow is still a good weapon, don't get me wrong, but it is definitely not something that is going to... I mean, it's still going to be good, you know, don't get me wrong. It's still going to be good, but it is not going to be something that is like laser accurate or, you know, super damaging or anything like that. So generally, as you might expect, having envoy guards obviously is going to be extremely effective. However, you do need a huge amount of cash to be able to make that work, and or you need a very lucrative mercenary contract. As you can see right here, I have a very lucrative one, and I'm still hemorrhaging money dramatically. Anyway, okay. This is when I'm actually going to show you some of the things that you can do here with the other envoys, and we're going to have a look. So, as you see, I find myself in need of quality goods to trade amongst the nobles of the Empire. Can you supply them? The Empire's ambitions need to weigh in the council. Gain for 30 council favor, 30 prestige. So I can obviously do that if I had enough favor. I don't have that at the moment. Our people need to make peace. What does it take to stop the war? It's going to take 750 council favor. So that's what you can do with the Envoy of the Empire. And the only one that will buy prisoners is the Witch King one. Everyone else doesn't do that. I personally think that the Witch King Envoy is the most useful, but we can have a look and actually see here. We desire to expand our trade networks but lack the funding. Would Ulthuan be willing to invest in this endeavor? We wait for another shipment of the treasure fleet. Yeah, it's because I've actually done something with this guy beforehand, so there is a little bit of a cooldown on this. I actually don't know how long the cooldown is. I'm going to assume it is about an in-game week. That's usually the standard cooldown for these kinds of events. But yes, anyway, we're surrounded by our enemies. We seek your aid to sow chaos within their ranks to weaken them, and as you can see, you're going to need 729. And he says, a Cainite dagger can make all the difference, if it finds the right throat at the wrong time. Wars have started over less. Upon whose throat should our daggers fall? And declare war between two factions, and that's going to require 729 council favor. So, as I said before, there are other things that you can do with council favor, with the exception of leveling up troops. And you can also tell them to raid things. There you go. This will cost you influence with the council, but we are always in need of more slaves. Where do you suggest our black arcs to anchor? 979. Yes, it needs 979. So from my perspective, I think that the Dark Elves, or, you know, these guys right here, they are fundamentally better. Just from a generalized perspective, as far as I can tell, they are fundamentally much more useful than the other envoys in the town. So I personally highly recommend just working with the Dark Elves all the time if you can, but obviously it very much depends. I'm not entirely sure if the High Elf gives you significant benefits, because maybe it does and I didn't explore it enough, but just take what I say with a pinch of salt anyway. So yeah, otherwise there doesn't seem to be anything here. Unfortunate. As you can see, there's even a Vampire Great Axe. Yes, very nice. A Prophetess Staff as well. Yeah, oh well, never mind. Traveling Merchant doesn't have anything for me. And actually, speaking of that, I wouldn't mind going and fighting some more people and selling them, but that's a funny thing. I actually need to sell to a marketplace. That would be useful, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would actually be useful. I kind of wish that our forces, and I'm talking about the vassals, I kind of wish that they would actually go into a battle and indeed try to get something from a siege. I think that would be really, really useful. Anyway, we're going to go for Giving Hands here. Discarded weapons are donated to troops. That is very, very useful here. And we're going to be going in and attacking this guy. Hello there, sir. Hello there. And let me tell you something real quick. I actually went into an auto-resolve in my off-screen time and ended up losing huge amounts of units. So what I'd highly recommend is, if you're playing this alongside me, try to be a little bit careful about auto-resolves, because even if it shows you that you're going to win, or shows you that you have an advantage, it is very difficult to make sure that that's going to happen, because there are going to be cases where you don't really know what the outcome is going to be. The auto-resolve could show you that you're going to have a really good shot at achieving victory without any problems whatsoever, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute, how did I lose that? And that generally does tend to happen quite often with this faction specifically. I'm not sure why, but I can only assume it's because my tactics skill is really low, and also maybe because the enemy has some kind of unit that is much, much better in auto-resolves than I think. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do some damage. There we go. I'm doing a little bit of damage here. And now that I have good armor, have you noticed? I haven't actually died as much. You see this? I'm literally taking arrows in the chest, in our full chest right here, and basically having no issues whatsoever. Gotta say, I absolutely love that. That is so much more fun, because obviously dying every single battle, that's not the most fun to do, is it? No, not at all. Okay, let me see if I can get a couple more headshots here. I actually find it a lot easier to hit headshots when I'm not zooming in. I know that sounds like a really stupid idea, but I actually do find it a lot easier to use the bow like that. Okay, let's try to use this. Okay, that did... Whoa, look at that. That did 53 damage this time. Nice. Alright, I am being funny a little bit there, because I'm not a big fan of this ability at all, but as I say, I think it does need to get better as we, get more career points, because that's what's actually going to make a difference, getting those 50% damage increases and things like that, and getting the radius increase and so on. I think that's really going to make all the difference in the world. And yeah, so our envoy guards, I believe they are still, they are still using magical arrows. That's absolutely fine. I did actually make it so that our horse archers are using the armor penetration arrows. And there we have it, 22 influence. Did I lose anyone? I don't think I actually lost anyone here, so that's actually fantastic. We can go into a couple of other battles as well. And I am, again, probably just going to be taking the highest tier units and then moving on from here, and not taking all the Empire recruits. Because if we take all the Empire recruits, you know what's going to happen, right? We are literally just going to get over encumbered by recruits and nothing much else. And that's going to be really bad. We obviously want to make sure that we are doing as much as we can with the highest tier and the space that we have. Because the space, obviously, is one of the main drawbacks that we have right now. So having highest tier, I hope, actually is going to make a difference. I actually don't even know whether high tier units make a difference in comparison to low tier, or whether it's just the amount of troops that you're selling to the Dark Elves. I actually don't know that. Anyway, we're going to get Tracker in the scouting tree, and we are going to be getting plus 50% aiming duration without losing accuracy, I think is probably what we're going to do. 30% extra damage with bows to mounts. I think both... yeah, okay, I'm going to say it, okay? I'm going to say it. I personally think that both of these perks are absolutely useless. And sure, you can disagree with me if you want to, but they are not very exciting. I really... I would love if the perk system was revisited by Tailworlds and actually just have a complete rework of a lot of the perks. Not all of the perks. Some of the perks are really, really fun. But yes, it would actually be a fantastic thing if we could get a complete perk rework. Obviously, as I said to you, I'm not actually wanting all the perks to be reworked, but a lot of the perks would be much better if they just had a slight little bit difference to them. And like, for example, as I just mentioned, the ability to hold the button down a little bit longer while aiming. I mean, look how much I can hold it down. I mean, I can hold it down 50% longer. I mean, do I need 50% longer when this is how long I actually have? I mean, not sure how long you're aiming, but for me personally, I'm usually aiming for about, I don't know, a second, 2 seconds or so before unleashing the arrow. It very much depends on you, of course. But that's just an example, you know, I'm just giving you an example of a perk that we've just taken that I personally feel is not exactly exciting or anything like that. And I don't know. I mean, what else could they do? I mean, that's the point, you know, what else could they do in place of it? There are a number of cases where, obviously, you know, you've got to think, okay, well, what could they replace it with? From a you know, a logical standpoint, what could they replace these kinds of perks with? Because obviously, in the grand scheme of things, well, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what they could replace it with, but it doesn't feel like a 150 skill level perk. That's what I'm saying. However, if I cannot provide, and this is one of those things that a lot of people don't seem to realize. You know, when giving criticism or, you know, anything, any kind of constructive comment, you've got to also think to yourself, okay, well, what could we do? What could we do differently? What could we actually suggest to replace that particular perk with? You know, because if we're not going to have any ideas about what we could replace it with, I mean, obviously it's not our job to actually do that, of course. But the fact is, if we don't have any ideas, then it's kind of not a moot point, as it were, but it's kind of not so good, you know. It's kind of like a not a very good mindset to have, because if we have some ideas, then maybe you know, then we can more accurately kind of think, oh yeah, actually they've done everything they can, you know, or oh yeah, I see why they've done this, because there isn't anything else to do, or there must be, you know, something else, you know what I mean? And I think that is in general something that we have to consider. I don't mind dying here, that's absolutely fine, not a big problem. I'm happy just to go zooming all over the place. I actually need to install the super speed mod, because I actually literally had to run 400 meters in this particular battle, and I thought to myself, wow, this is going to take me a long time, and it did. It took me like, what, 5 minutes to get over there or something, I don't even know, but yeah, thankfully we were able to achieve victory. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, actually, I'm trying to rack my brain, because you know, that's the funny thing, if I'm going to give any kind of constructive comment on the perk system, and I say, oh yeah, this perk sucks, or you know, this perk could be better, then why do I not, you know, how can I can't say that. I can't say that because if I don't have a suggestion to replace the perk, then what am I doing, you know? I need to have some kind of idea, and I'm not sure if I do. That's the funny thing, I'm not sure if I do. I need to have a look at a particular perk in a particular tree and actually see what kind of idea I could come up with to replace a specific perk. Because, I mean, obviously, as I said to you before, some of these percentage increases I personally think are kind of meh, you know, because I just generally don't like that. That is just my own personal preference. I don't particularly enjoy, you know, percentage increases here and there because I think that that's a little bit boring, you know. But then on the flip side, what are they supposed to do instead? You know what I mean? What are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to do what? A complete revamp of the combat system? Add in special moves that you can do, like special combat moves and things like that? Like, for example, if you had, I don't know, let's say you had a bow, right? And you get to 150 bow skill, and instead of having discipline, you have something called, I don't know, 3-shot volley or something, and you press a button, let's say, I don't know, you press G on your keyboard or whatever, and then it fires off 3 arrows in quick succession at maximum accuracy. And this particular ability has a minute cooldown or a 2-minute cooldown or something along those lines. And that could be kind of fun. I don't know. Is that fun? Do you think that would be fun? I don't know. Anyway, all I'm saying is these are the kinds of situations that I'm talking about. Something like that would require a... Would it require a complete revamp of the combat system to add in something along those lines? I wouldn't know. I'm not someone that knows about the combat system from a baseline perspective. But it would be cool, I think. It would be cool. You could turn the game into much more of a sort of like RPG-ish experience. Obviously, I'm not talking about making things into something like, you know, Dynasty Warriors, obviously. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about creating a character that is completely unrealistic in its ability to slaughter thousands upon thousands of troops. Obviously not. Unless you're playing a mod that allows you to do that, of course, because the Old Realms does have very strong characters and is capable of doing certain things like that. You know, I'm looking at the vampires mostly here, followed by the Bretonnian damsels. They are very, very strong, or can be very, very strong. Anyway, what I'm saying is, if that were possible, that would be a really fun idea, or at least I think it would be fun. You know, something along those lines being added. And you could have similar things for the other trees as well. Like, you could have activatable abilities strewn about in the perk trees at, you know, 150 skill, 250 skill, respectively, in all the trees. And you could have, you know, a wide variety of different ways that you could use these. And I'm not even talking about only combat here either, because you could even have things that just give you some kind of activatable benefit in the trade skill, or the medicine skill, or any of these things. And I think that would be really, really fun to do, because it would actually improve your overall strategy, your overall tactical thinking as well. Because think about a tactics skill perk that provides you with an activatable. I gained a level because they have artillery. Oh, that's bad. Okay, I'm gonna have to tell everyone to charge in. This is real bad. Let's put them into loose formation here. But yeah, anyway, as I said, think about tactics skill. And if you had an activatable ability unlocked at around 150 skill, and you would use it, and then let's say that the next battle that you go into, you'd gain an overwhelming benefit. Let's say that you'd gain a benefit that would provide you with, I don't know, provide your units with 100% additional combat proficiency or something along those lines. In other words, I mean, obviously that's an extremely powerful skill. That's really, really strong, and I'm not suggesting that we go for anything like that, but I'm just giving an example of what it could be, you know. the percentage doesn't really matter, basically. All I'm saying is the functionality might be something kind of cool, might be something kind of fun. And those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. Something that just provides you with a little bit of an additional thing that you can do with that perk. And I'm not, that isn't like a percentage increase, because as I said, I think that percentage increases are sometimes not particularly the most enjoyable thing ever, because they are a little bit uninspired, but that doesn't really matter sometimes. It very much depends. You know, if you get a 100% bonus, for example, let's say you get a 100% bonus, then things are going to be looking up, you know. If you get a 100% bonus, then you're going to be doing great. Everything's going to be super, super fun then. But I'm talking about, you know, gaining 5% here, 2% here, you know, those kinds of things are not exactly the most enjoyable to gain. And they generally do tend to be quite, well, I wouldn't say disappointing, but they do tend to be quite troublesome. Because you kind of think, oh, I just gained 2% increased damage against bandits in forests while it's nighttime at 11 p.m. You know, when the moon is full, and you know, so on and so forth. I'm obviously just exaggerating here in this case, but the point stands. You know, sometimes there are those perks where you just go, what is the use case for this? You know what I mean? So those are the kinds of perks that I think would be cool to rework in some way or another. But as I say, not sure if that's ever going to happen. And personally, as I said, some perks don't need to be reworked, you know? As I say, some of them are absolutely fine, and you wouldn't need to do anything with them. I'm actually really surprised that we're having issues with this guy, but it does seem as though we're going to be fine. It's actually funny that the artillery are the main reason why we're having issues, because they've actually killed a significant amount of us. Okay, let's just kill this guy before he can reload. Thank you very much. There we go. He's dead. And we do need to kill this cavalry person. Thank you. I'm actually super surprised we've lost so many. Oh, that guy on his horse. That was super funny. Alright, he's dead as well now. Thank you. There we are. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't even lose a huge amount. Okay, yeah, no, never mind. Okay, this is obviously fantastic. This is the literal reason why I absolutely love medicine skill. I actually don't know. Does artillery actually kill? Or does it only knock unconscious? Huh. I'm actually not entirely sure. Because if it only knocks unconscious, well, that explains it. But I was going to say that's the reason why taking medicine skill is so incredibly useful. But, yeah, well, whatever the case, there we go. We were able to defeat an actual army, if you can believe it. Yeah, an actual army of the Empire. Did a pretty reasonable job, too, if I do say so myself. Let's just level those guys up. I'm going to have to leave all those prisoners, unfortunately, and I'm going to donate all the money to, all the potential money, that is. And then we are going to be making our way back to the town, and we're making a profit. Look at that. But look at my party. My party is insane. It's 10,000 per day. That is not good. I might have to get rid of some of these guys. They're leveling up into way too many, aren't they? I feel like I should get rid of some. I feel like I need to get rid of some, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'll probably do a little bit of culling in between episodes, because as it stands right now, things are looking real bad. You know, if we were to actually continue like this, I can imagine. I think someone actually mentioned that already in the comments. I think I seem to remember something like that. I think you were talking about how you were paying. What was it now? I think like 20,000 or 25,000, maybe even 30,000 per day in wages. And yeah, I can 100% agree that that is way too much. That is super, super hardcore. And that is definitely something that I really would like to avoid. So I'm going to have to be a bit strict in getting rid of some things. But we're doing okay in regards to our money. So in regards to our money at the moment, but that's only because we're a mercenary. If I ever become a vassal, we're going to lose that immediately. So that's obviously a really bad thing. I should probably level up my medicine skill some more, shouldn't I? Is there anything else I want to level up? No, I'll just do the medicine. And we do have a point now, so let's... The damage is doubled. Okay, wait a minute. What? Oh, I see. So basically they want you to get all of the damage increases. The range is doubled as well, and this ability scales with scouting skill. Okay. So yeah, so basically they want you to get the 50% increases, and then they want you to get the damages doubled. So that's a 200% increase then, effectively, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that's good, but yeah, we're going to need a lot more levels to be able to make that work, which is kind of annoying in itself, but I guess we'll see how the ability does as we progress further in the game. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.